Sierah Joughin was a young girl who was confident and comfortable being herself. After graduating high school, she attended the University of Toledo in Ohio. Throughout her high school years, Sierah had been in a relationship with a young man named Josh, and the two of them cared deeply about one another. The summer before her junior year began, Sierah chose to stay close to home and concentrate on her degree. On July 19, 2016, around 5:00 p.m., Sierah left her home for a bike ride on her new bicycle she had just bought from a garage sale. Sierah was on her way to her boyfriend Josh's house, approximately 7 miles from her home. While Sierah was away, her mother, Sheila, attended a class. However, when Sheila returned home around 9:30 p.m., she noticed something strange. The light in Sierah's bedroom was not on, which caught Sheila's attention. As she expected Sierah to be home, Sheila found this unusual. Despite the initial concern, Sheila decided to dismiss her worries and assumed that Sierah was still at her boyfriend Josh's house. At around 10:30 p.m., Sierah's boyfriend, Josh, contacted her mother, Sheila, regarding Sierah's whereabouts. He explained that Sierah had not answered her phone, which was unusual for her. Josh informed Sheila that Sierah had left his home on a bicycle around 7:00 p.m., and since then, he has been trying to reach her without success. Sheila immediately sensed that something was wrong and sprang into action. Upon hearing the news, Sierah's loved ones began to worry. Their initial concern was the possibility that Sierah had been hit by a passing vehicle while on her bike. They feared that she had been injured and left injured on the side of the road, possibly in a ditch somewhere. Sierah's aunt was involved in the search for her and started to call all her friends to see if they knew where she was, but no one did. She posted on Facebook, begging anyone with information on Sierah's whereabouts to come forward. Because Sierah's family was so worried about her, they even contacted all the hospitals in the area, but still had no luck locating her. Despite their growing concern, Sierah's family held on to hope that she may have been injured in a car accident and stranded somewhere, hurt and in need of help. However, a part of their mind felt something more sinister had happened to her. 4 hours after anyone had last seen or heard from Sierah, her family contacted the police. When Sierah's mother, Sheila, spoke to the officers with the sheriff's department, she explained that her daughter always came straight home when she said she would and never stayed out past 11:00 p.m. Sierah's disappearance, therefore, was very unlike her. In addition to Sheila's statement, Sierah's boyfriend, Josh, also spoke to the police. Josh told them that when Sierah left his house around 7:00 p.m. on her bicycle, he followed her on his motorcycle. However, during the ride, Sierah told Josh she was fine and could make it herself the rest of the way. As a result, Josh turned around and went home. He stated that the last time he saw her was around 6:43 p.m. After Sierah's family reported her missing to the sheriff's department, the officers contacted their counterparts in other jurisdictions to determine if there had been any accidents involving victims who matched her description. However, no reports were received. Sierah, being an adult, would normally trigger a waiting period before a full-scale search is conducted. However, the sheriff's department decided to take her disappearance seriously and began to search for her throughout the town. They meticulously checked ditches and cornfields, searching for any sign of Sierah's bike or body. At around midnight, one deputy searching for Sierah was patrolling County Road 6, where she was last seen riding her bike. As he was driving along, the deputy noticed a section of corn knocked down on the side of the road. The corn being knocked down struck him as odd, and he decided to investigate further. The deputy pulled over to the side of the road and exited the vehicle with his flashlight in hand. He cautiously entered the cornfield, scanning the area with his flashlight. As he delved deeper into the field, he noticed broken corn stalks and an overwhelming scent of gas. This strange combination prompted him to pull himself back out of the cornfield the way he had entered. The deputy then turned his attention to the surrounding area. As he scanned the road, he spotted 2 pairs of sunglasses on the ground. The deputy continued his search further down the road, shining his flashlight into the cornfield. To his surprise, he noticed what appeared to be a reflector of a bike. The bike, which matched the description of Sierah's bike, was found standing up and backed into the field, indicating that someone had intentionally concealed it. This discovery led the police to suspect that Sierah had been abducted. Upon finding the bike, the authorities promptly closed the road and prohibited anyone, including Sierah's family, from accessing the area. During the search of the bike, the police discovered blood stains on the handles and the seat. In addition to the bloodstains, the police discovered a green sock near the bike. They knew from Sierah's mother that she had been wearing green socks on the day of the disappearance. The finding of this sock further strengthened the police's belief that the bike was linked to Sierah's disappearance. The police also came across an orange-handled screwdriver with blood on it. Crime scene investigators also noticed a tire track going down the ditch on the right side of the road traveling north that appeared to be from a motorcycle. Although the amount of blood found in the field was not enough to indicate a fatal injury, there was enough evidence for the police to conclude that Sierah did not leave the field on her own accord. As the police continued their search for Sierah, a local farmer came forward with information that may be helpful in their investigation. The man stated that he was driving south on County Road 6 around the time Sierah went missing. As he passed by a field where the police suspect she was abducted, he noticed a motorcycle helmet lying on the ground. Intrigued by this discovery, the man instructed his son to step out of their vehicle and retrieve the helmet. His son did, and the helmet was placed in the bed of the man's truck. After the man handed the helmet to the authorities, they examined it. The exterior and interior of the helmet were found to have red stains, which appeared to be blood. This discovery further strengthened their suspicion that the helmet was connected to Sierah's disappearance. Because the police knew Sierah's boyfriend, Josh, had been riding a motorcycle beside her before she disappeared, the discovery of the bloody helmet raised red flags. The authorities immediately focused their investigation on Josh, making him the primary suspect in Sierah's disappearance. With his consent, the police proceeded to search Josh's house. During their search, they focused specifically on his bedroom. They collected the clothes that Josh had worn on the day of Sierah's disappearance and examined them thoroughly. The investigators were looking for any signs of blood or other incriminating evidence. In addition to searching Josh's bedroom, the police inspected his motorcycle. They meticulously examined every aspect of the vehicle, looking for clues that might shed light on what happened to Sierah. However, their efforts proved fruitless, as they were unable to uncover anything significant. Not satisfied with their initial findings, the police sought Josh's permission to search his truck. They believe the vehicle may hold crucial forensic evidence related to the case. In the storage compartment of his car, police found a pair of brown coveralls. Upon closer examination, they discovered a large blood stain on the front. Josh, an avid hunter, claimed that the blood belonged to a deer he had encountered while out hunting. However, the police were suspicious and conducted forensic testing to verify his claim. The results of the forensic testing confirmed that the blood stain on the coveralls was indeed animal blood and not human. This revelation exonerated Josh in the eyes of the police, and he was ultimately cleared of any suspicion in Sierah's disappearance. Police canvassed the town, knocking on doors and talking to everyone they could. There was a sense of urgency to work fast to find Sierah alive. The community came together to aid in the search for Sierah. As Josh searched, he noticed something suspicious near the crime scene. It was a white van driving strangely. Intrigued, Josh decided to follow the van for a block. However, the van quickly sped away, and Josh was unable to keep up with it. Determined to obtain the license plate number, he contacted the police and gave them a partial plate number. The police were able to identify and track down the suspicious vehicle that Josh had spotted near the crime scene. Upon further investigation, they discovered that the van was driven by a woman who provided a similar account of the events that Josh had described. However, there was one crucial difference. The woman claimed she was afraid that someone was trying to ram her off the road. Upon examining the van, the police did not uncover any evidence linking the woman to Sierah's abduction. They utilized Blue Star, a chemical used to detect blood, but the search yielded nothing. It became clear that this woman was not involved in the disappearance of Sierah. With this information, the police resumed their search for Sierah, focusing on other potential leads and clues. The police began investigating violent and sex offenders living in the area surrounding the location where Sierah was abducted. Through this investigation, they came across the name James Worley. The officers proceeded to drive to James Worley's home, which sat on an acre property. James and his mom occupied the residence, and the property included a series of barns. Upon arriving at James Worley's residence, the police made contact with him. However, their visit did not initially go smoothly. James became visibly upset. He became aggressive and expressed his displeasure with their presence. James Worley reluctantly allowed the police to search his home. Throughout the process, he insisted that he had never harmed or sexually assaulted anyone. As the police conducted a tour around the rest of his property, they visited a workshop where James Worley fixed motorcycles. In a second barn on the property, the police noticed rake marks on the ground, indicating that someone may have been attempting to conceal something. Upon moving bales of hay, they discovered a wooden green box surrounded by chicken wire. With great anticipation, the police opened the box and found a collection of lingerie and underwear. James Worley claimed that every item in the box was brand new and had never been worn. However, the police noticed a pair of purple underwear with red staining, resembling blood. While investigating the barn, the police noticed a piece of plywood placed on the ground, with air holes cut into it. Upon further investigation, they removed the plywood and discovered a small cubic feet freezer buried into the ground. A tow strap was wrapped around the side of the freezer, its purpose being to keep the lid closed. After opening the lid of the freezer, the police discovered that it was empty. The interior of the freezer was lined with carpet, and there was a strong smell of chemicals, particularly bleach, which suggested someone had cleaned the freezer recently. During the search for Sierah, the police put a notice to the community urging them to check their properties for anything unusual. This alert generated a response from a local farmer who reported finding something strange on his farm. The farmer noticed a mound of dirt that he couldn't explain. Upon receiving the report, the police began investigating the mound of dirt. The police noticed the soil had a peculiar odor, leading officers to believe something might be buried there. After digging, the officers discovered the body of Sierah. The medical examiner performed an autopsy on Sierah's body and determined that she had been asphyxiated. Later, DNA testing on the purple underwear found in James Worley's garage came back as a match for Sierah, and the DNA on the motorcycle helmet came back to James Worley and Sierah. James Worley was arrested and charged with the murder of Sierah. He pleaded not guilty and went to trial in March 2018. One of the key witnesses in the trial was a woman named Robin Gardner. Robin had previously encountered James Worley and testified that in July 1990, he had run her down with his truck while holding a screwdriver to her neck and threatening to kill her. Fortunately, she was able to escape. During the trial, jurors deliberated for 6 hours before finding James Worley guilty of murdering Sierah. In 2021, his death sentence was upheld by the Supreme Court.